Alright, back another album review. Well, we finally made it to episode 200. For this occasion, I decided to review one of my favorite movie soundtracks. The soundtrack in question is that of Atomic Blonde. Atomic Blonde is an action film released in 2017 that's an adaptation of a graphic novel from 2012 called The Coldest City. The film was directed by David Leitch, who is best known for being one of the masterminds behind the John Wick series. The film stars Charlize Theron as Lorraine Broughton. The movie and soundtrack were released on July 28th, 2017. When I first watched the movie in 2017, I thought it was a pretty solid movie with a kick-ass soundtrack. And it's pretty much mandatory for an action film to have a kick-ass soundtrack. After rewatching the movie several times, I came to appreciate it more and more. So much so that I ended up buying the soundtrack, which is what today's review is on. The soundtrack was released on Backlot Music, which is a record label that Universal Music Group typically releases soundtracks on. Figures since the movie was distributed by Focus Pictures, which is owned by Universal Studios. Since the movie takes place in '89, the soundtrack primarily consists of new wave, synth pop, and pop rock songs from the '80s, but with 3 original compositions by Tyler Bates. Now, those compositions were mixed by Wolfgang Mathis. The executive producer was John Halligan. Dieter Hartmann provided additional programming and arrangements. The score coordinator was Joanne Higginbottom. Roger Kostak edited the music. And the co-music supervisor was Willa Yodel. And now let's talk about the songs. The intro to the soundtrack is Cat People, Putting Out the Fire by David Bowie. This is actually the first song that was featured in the movie. When you have a movie that starts with a David Bowie song, then you know you're doing something right. Next track is Major Tom by Peter Schilling. Fun fact, the store I work at played the song all the time during the first 5 months of me working there. After that is Blue Monday by Health. I haven't heard a whole lot of songs by Health, but I should probably check out more of their songs. Next up is Cocksucker by Tyler Bates. It's one of 3 original songs that Tyler made for the film. And I just can't help but laugh at the title, considering the fact that the song is fully instrumental. Up next is 99 Luftballons by Nina. This is the song that Nina is most known for, and I should check out the rest of Nina's discography at some point. The version in the movie and the soundtrack has the original German lyrics. Even though I don't speak German, I actually prefer the German version over the English version. The song was being played on a boombox in one scene of the movie, and some asshole destroyed the boombox. My reaction was, "You asshole! I was listening to that." And we followed up with "Father Figure" by George Michael. Now, I have heard a handful of songs by George Michael, to be honest. And it's followed up by Der Kommissar by After the Fire. It's actually a cover of a song by Falco. The original version has the lyrics in German, but this cover is in English. And to be honest, I have a personal bias towards the original version, mainly because of how it sounds. The song after that is Cities and Dust by Siouxsie and the Banshees. I'm not familiar with this band, but I should probably check out more of their songs. What comes after that is The Politics of Dancing by Reflex. The song is part of the reason why I enjoy synthpop, and I should probably get a hold of Reflex's albums at some point. Also, the store I work at used to play this song all the time. What comes next is Stigmata by Marilyn Manson and Tyler Bates. This is actually a cover of a song by Ministry, which only begs the question, if the original version came out in '88 and the film takes place the following year, then what was the need for this cover? Granted, the film came out in 2017, and that was back when the rock and metal communities still respected Manson. To be honest, I stopped listening to Marilyn Manson after he was outed as a serial abuser, and I skipped the song whenever I listened to the soundtrack. Tyler Bates gets a pass given the fact that he no longer works with Manson, and is instead working with Bush and Jerry Cantrell. The track that comes next is Demonstration by Tyler Bates. It's the second original song that Tyler made for the movie. following track is I Ran So Far Away by A Flock of Seagulls. I'm not overly familiar with The Flock of Seagulls, but I know that they were a popular new wave band back in the 80s. The track that follows is 99 Luftballons by Kaleido. This is actually a cover of the song by Nina, which I talked about earlier. This cover sounds more downbeat compared to the original, but I lean more towards the original. Up next is Voices Carry by Till Tuesday. Till Tuesday is another one of those 80s new wave bands I should probably check out at some point. Next up is London Calling by The Clash. Just about everyone who is familiar with The Clash has heard this song at least once. In fact, I lost track of the number of times I've heard it. The finale of the soundtrack is Finding the UHF Device by Tyler Bates. This is the third and final song that Tyler made for the movie. I couldn't find any information on how this soundtrack performed commercially. However, it has almost a perfect score on both Amazon and Discogs. Now for my thoughts. With all honesty, this is one of my favorite movie soundtracks. And you can see why I chose to review this for my 200th album review. Aside from the Marilyn Manson song, this is an amazing soundtrack on its own. One thing that would have made it even more awesome is if it included some 80s metal songs from bands such as Motorhead, Metallica, Slayer, and Anthrax. Overall, I highly recommend the soundtrack. Now's the part where I question you. Have you listened to the soundtrack to Atomic Blonde? If so, what do you think about it? What's your favorite song from it? Do you think the original version of Stigmata should have been used instead of the cover? What other songs do you think should have been included? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to press the notification bell to notify future videos. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with another video.